welcome to Ruction Nation, Jay. Thank you for cutting time out of your busy day to join Nick and myself. Really appreciate having you.
Glad to be here.
So, kind of explain the purpose of this podcast. We just want to hear from fellow tradesmen, fellow people working in this field, and really kind of promote people joining this industry. Tell us where you're at today. What do you do? What's your day-to-day look like?
Yeah, so I'm a senior project manager for First Electric. Been there for 22 years now. In the trade for 30. My day-to-day, man, it's helping out my field staff, helping out my superintendents, pricing change orders, making sure that, they have all the material, manpower, everything they need to be successful. So, yeah, it's a lot of looking at change orders, looking at drawings, looking at submittals, making sure everything is right.
Yeah, so you're basically support for the guys in the field.
Yep.
At the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
How many jobs do you typically have going at one time?
So typically I run about 4 to 5, but right now I'm only running 3 because one of them is a high rise and we have a lot of scope in that high rise. So we have the lighting, we have the low voltage, we have just there's a lot to manage. So yeah, so that one basically is like 2 or 3 smaller jobs all in itself. So
And where did you start? Let's go all the way back to the beginning. So
high school, I was an average student. So college was not in the future for me, and I kind of knew it. Didn't know what I wanted to do. My dad at the time was starting his own company, and was like, well, if you don't have anything to do, I guess come help me. So actually I graduated high school early because I was done with school and just didn't want to be there anymore. So went and we wired 2 houses in Vail to start, and then and then later that summer did a community center in Lakewood, O'Connell Community Center. They used to be a middle school and then changed it to they built a new middle school next to it and then changed that to a community center. So that was one of the first projects I did right out of high school.
First taste of commercial at that point.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So your dad was an electrician as well?
Dad. And so who I work for now is my uncle. He's also, so the whole family, grandpa was right there. So, yep. So yeah, just started in. My dad worked for my dad for 8 years, did mainly commercial industrial. So did a lot of post office work. Yeah, all over the state. Did little post office remodels everywhere. And then the market took a turn after 9/11, and a lot of the contractors we were working for either went out of business, and then the post office announced that they weren't going to spend any more money except for repairs for the next year and a half. So that's when I went to my uncle 22 years ago and came to First Electric as just working.
What was your first role at First?
Just I had my journeyman's license, so I was just helping out, and then they saw what I could do. Actually, I got put in a van for a little bit.
Doing service stuff? Or?
Doing service and small commercial work. At that time, we had a service department, and then we got rid of the service department, and then I went and ran a job off of Hamden I-25, a big apartment complex. So that was the first taste of multifamily for me. And ran that one, was successful, and just kept going.
What was your thought? Can you remember what was going through your head during that first multifamily project?
Yeah, I was, coming from commercial industrial, you have that background of like, this is like beneath me,
Mm.
you know. And but I'll tell you what, these big projects are not easy. They're not easy.
Very
There's a lot to
involved.
them. Yeah. So once I got done, with it, and it was like that was way harder than anything I did commercially or in the industrial side. So yeah.
You got the itch to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just to be successful and do that big of a project was yeah, it was pretty neat.
What was the process of getting your journeymans?
So we had, at the time, we only needed 8,000 hours of documented time. So you work those hours, and then your employer signs off, sends a letter in to the state verifying that you've worked those hours. Now you need 2 years of schooling, though, to go with it. I did 4 years of schooling. I did 4 years at Red Rocks, 2 years at Red Rocks, and then 2 years at IEC to finish out my 4 years. So, and we send all of our apprentices currently to IEC. It's a really good school.
So it's currently 2 years of schooling plus
8,000 hours
8,000 hours.
to get your journeyman's. Yep.
And then what's the next level?
Masters, and you need another year of layout and plans and layout and some other qualifications to get your master's, but it's only another 2,000 hours.
And what does that schooling look like?
So the schooling is kind of like a normal calendar school year, and it's only one night a week. Most of them are from or 2.5 to 3 hours long. So most of the time it's 6 to 9 ish, 6 to 10. Trying to remember, but yeah. So it's only one night a week. Yep.
And in your experience, do companies typically pay for that?
Yep. Most companies pay for it. Some companies I've heard of, they'll pay for the percentage that you get in the class. So if you get an A or whatever, then most of it's paid. And then, but for us, we pay as long as you pass. They're pretty strict on attendance, though. So if you miss 2 or 3 classes, you're in front of the board and basically begging to stay in. And,
Sure.
and then for us, if you get kicked out, then you got to pay for it. So, but yeah, it's I think it's around $600-700 a year to send those guys, maybe more. Actually, yeah, I'm speaking way out of term here. But we pay for it as long as they pass. And yep, they get books, they get code books and other books to go with it. So
You've been with the same company for so long. I'm kind of in the same boat where I just don't know how all the other companies operate. Is it pretty standard across the industry for electrical companies to pay for that education?
Yeah. Yep. Yes, it is.
I figured it was.
Yep. Yeah. In fact, IEC did a study one time that I read that really perked my eyes, and that was they compared an electrician getting into the trade right out of high school like myself, and comparing it to a doctor and going to going to college, getting their PhD, and that the doctor doesn't catch the electrician until they're in their mid to late 40s, early 50s, paying off all the debt.
That's wild.
Yeah. So especially if you work and go get your journeyman's and you become, a leader and push yourself to become a leader, you can make good money. So,
right.
Yeah.
Put yourself back in your early years. Was it something that you kind of fell in love with right away? Just the work and everything about being an electrician. Did you enjoy it right off the bat?
Yeah, it was fun. Just learning and turning power on is always satisfying as an electrician, turning on lights.
Yep.
So yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot to it, especially going from commercial, industrial, just all the codes. I mean, our code book is, pretty thick, and you get to learn a lot of things the hard way sometimes.
Was there ever another trade that piqued your interest? Something that was as appealing as being an electrician?
Not really another trade. I always liked working on cars and automobiles. So when I was in high school and not knowing what I wanted to do, I was kind of like, do I want to be a mechanic? And then my dad was like, you don't want to be a mechanic. You don't want to be washing grease out from underneath your fingernails every night. And he's like, you don't want to do that. So luckily he talked me into this. And so, but yeah, just like working on things. Yeah.
Yeah. Just going back to one thing that you said, turning on the lights on especially a big multifamily project is, to me, one of the best moments of the project. Mm-hmm. When you can flip that switch and you go live, even if it's just like a parking garage, yep. It changes everything. I mean, you get off your temp lighting, you can actually see what's going on. It's a big milestone moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine how it feels to be responsible for that moment.
Yeah, it's a good feeling always to get power turned on. We try to kind of reward our crews for getting power turned on. So we try to do like lunches when we get, powered up and topped out and, roughed out. But yeah, that's always a good one to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a job that sticks out when you flipped on the power? It just felt different like all the others?
Yeah, I'd probably say the last job I ran out in the field, and that was 2020, mainly because the exterior of the lights all shined up on the outside of the building and changed color. So that one was kind of a cool one to light up at the end, even though it was a huge pain to program all those lights. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
Where are most of your field guys coming from at this point? Are you getting a bunch of like young guys straight out of high school, out of trade school?
We get a few guys out of high school. Yeah, they come from all over. I mean, we have some older guys too.
Yeah.
But we do have some younger guys, and yeah, I mean, some guys that are, right out of high school. But yeah, it's a whole demographic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the big questions for the next generation, the younger generation coming up, is the opportunity there? Can you really have the American dream or the life you want without going to a 4-year school?
Right. Yeah. I've known so many kids because my daughter just graduated high school. She's going to college, but a lot of friends of hers, and then also like friends of friends that have the same age kids. And, a lot of our friends, my wife and I's friends, their kids are getting older, and it's like, I know a lot of those kids, and I could see a lot of those kids, and it was like, you're going in the trades. I know it. And sure enough, it's those kids that you can tell that they're not the greatest student. I mean, it's not like you have to be, I don't know. I struggled in high school just because the monotony of books and all that stuff. And I just wanted to build something with my hands, so my daughter has friends that actually, I was just talking to a kid 2 weeks ago about coming into the trades because he was like, yeah, college he did a semester of college and he was like, it's not for me. So but that's kind of who draws towards, the trades is the guys that really don't want to go to college and, want to get out there and get paid to learn how to do a trade. And then by the time you're done, with a 4-year, because I'm pretty sure the plumber and the tinner are all 4-year journeymans, you're making really good money. So
without divulging any company secrets, like what range are we talking here? Like what can you expect?
Yeah, we start our apprentices off at 20, I want to say 21, 22. And then when you get your journeyman's license, you're around that 36 to 38 range starting. And then if you're already kind of made yourself and pushed yourself into that leadership role, there's merit base there. So guys are making more, even though they just got their journeyman's license, other than guys that just get their license and just want to work. The harder you work, obviously, the more you're gonna make. So, but yeah, I mean, we've had guys that, went in, did the 4 years with us, got journeyman's license, and during their apprenticeship, they were in leadership roles, kind of, right, running smaller crews. And then once they got their license, they were, kind of moved up into leadership roles. And then within a year, they were running work. It's all just depends on how hungry you are to succeed, and those guys are pretty easy to spot, so, and once you get into those leadership roles, I mean, we got most of our foremen are well over 6 figures. So.
Yeah.
Yep. So with bonuses and everything. Yep.
With no debt, usually, if you're going that route.
No debt. No college debt.
Just switching subjects here real quick. So tell me more about the automotive interest. It sounds like it's probably a hobby of yours still.
Yeah. Yep. So just I get to fix a drive shaft on my Jeep that I broke last weekend. So
sounds like a story. What happened?
So it was out rock crawling. I got a huge Jeep. It's built. My wife hates it because it's a money pit. But yeah. But yeah, crawling up something almost about taller than this table, and I had to crawl up both the rear and the front at the same time, up another step, and hit it with a little too much gas, and it jumped up and bounced, and when it came down, just twisted that drive shaft, the U-joints right off. So
how'd you get it out of there?
So pulled it off the rear, just unbolted the rear U-joint, pulled the drive shaft off, and then winched out of there, and then just drove home in front wheel drive. So yeah, luckily it was just that. So
do you have a go-to spot that you guys usually?
We kind of hit, depending on where we're going. Yeah, it's a lot of closer stuff. That was one of them. It's called Rainbow Falls. It's just south of Deckers. Yeah, so
familiar. Spent many, many, many nights out there
at Rainbow Falls.
Yeah.
So the mini Moab.
Oh yeah, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah, that's it. That's where I broke it.
Oh.
So, but yeah. So love kind of started. I had a 71 Vega in high school that had a 327 in it, and was running 13s at Vandermeer, and so kind of got rid of that. Because that was another money pit. Got into motorcycles, so street and dirt bike. So was racing motocross, and was almost going to race street, but that was way too expensive. But raced motocross and worked on my own, on my own motorcycle and stuff. And then, yeah, just like tinkering.
Yeah, I mean, for any of those hobbies, I feel like you have to be able to tinker somewhat, or else you're just spending a fortune.
Yeah.
But
the Jeep.
Off-roading's one of those where it's not a cheap one.
No, it's not, unfortunately, but it's fun.
Yeah, of course.
Do you still take the dirt bikes out often? Do you race?
No, I got rid of the dirt bikes, and it just was dangerous. Had my daughter, and the street and the dirt were just watching people get hurt, and it's like, do I really want to end up in the hospital, or not be able to work for 3 months? And so at the time there wasn't all that insurance that we have now that's available, the long term and short term, and there was none of that. So if you didn't work, you didn't get paid. So it was time to give it up. Mm-hmm.
Just going back to the work that you do. So yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, I mean, on these big multifamily buildings, the lights and the stuff you can see is only a small percentage of the work that you guys actually do. Most of it you cannot see.
Mm-hmm.
It's either back of house or buried in the wall. What portion of the job do you enjoy the most? Do you like kind of the backbone structure of your electrical system? Do you like the trims? Do you like the stuff you can see at the very end, the programming and the...
Yeah, most guys are most seasoned electricians are gonna want to do the gear and the one line. That's the harder stuff, I guess. Harder stuff, I would say, and the more technical stuff, the roughing the units and trimming the units, I would say is easier, and that's kind of what we train guys and start out guys doing, is roughing units and roughing just outlets and switches and lights, and then trimming those.
A little more monotonous.
Yep, a little more monotonous. But the switch gear it's fun to build and fun to pull wire and land that big wire, and so it's the switch gear for sure.
So if you're a young electrician with an interest to do the switch gear and all the big systems, you're sitting there, you're listening right now, what things does that individual need to do in order to get that opportunity?
One, voice it to your superintendent, and then two, you got to be a hustler. You got to hustle, man. If you want to do what you want, you got to hustle. So, that was me growing up through the trades. I always try to outwork everybody around me, and that's how I feel like I got, kind of where I was or where I am now, and especially, working for my dad. I felt like I had to prove that I wasn't that lazy son, So I always outworked everybody. So.
And when you say outwork, what does that typically mean? Is it like longer hours?
No.
Move quicker, or
move quicker? Yep, just move quicker. I was just tried to out hustle, outthink. Just always like, what's next? What's next? And even if I had someone help me, it was like, all right, we're doing this. All right, what's next? Like, think about it. Like, come on, we're rolling here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to stop and think. Like, let's go. So, yeah. Just outworking, not, you see it these days where, guys are on their phones or whatever, and just out in the field. And it's kind of frustrating being in the trade for 30 years. And you see, it's like, just put down your phone and work.
Was there something you were doing extra outside of work? Reading different things, taking on side jobs, getting repetition?
Yeah, when I was younger, did a lot of side work. Yep, that definitely filled, I wouldn't say a lot. Occasionally, maybe like once a month, once every other month, I do side work. And then, just you get to a point in your life where it's like, honestly, it wasn't that I didn't need the money. It was, I didn't want the risk.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was that was like, if that house burns down and they can't figure out why, they're going to blame you. And I was like, even though it wasn't me, I know my work is good, but they're going to just go, well, you didn't get it inspected. They're just going to point fingers. So I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So
Is there any one person or group of people that, I don't want to say you owe, but people that you look up to specifically in your electrical journey?
yeah, I mean, obviously my dad for getting me into it, get me started, and then probably like my uncle and a lot of the First Electric team. A lot of those guys have been there for, First Electric. I've been there for 22 years. First Electric's been around for 23 years, and a lot of guys, Doug, and that you guys know, and
Yeah.
some other guys, Pat. Yeah, they've all helped me and learned, and yep, Doug is strong where everywhere I'm weak. So, yep.
Seems like a good balance. I've
Yeah.
had nothing but good conversations in the realm of needing, I guess, a second opinion on something. You guys have all those people that you mentioned have all met me in a good space to where they've been willing to help. And you guys have a very family oriented feel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we try to.
I don't think anyone can really make it without a good team around them,
Yeah.
It's always the people that are around, the teams that we have on site, the trades that we have on site, all the different subcontractors. I mean, it's overall, I would say I've had great experiences with the teams on all the jobs I've been on. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's huge to have people around you that that know what they're doing and are willing to do it. And yeah, it helps to have a good team and
just make the day go by too.
Right.
Just enjoyable people to be around.
mm-hmm.
Through the long days, through the 90-degree heat.
yeah. Do you guys have any, I guess, when you were out in the field, did you ever perform any funny jokes with the guys?
Oh man.
Have any stories that you'd like to share? Any trailer experiences?
Yeah. I was wondering if this was going to get brought up. So I was thinking about some of them, man. I've had some characters that worked for us. I don't get to hear about them too much lately because being in the office, but back in the field, man, I've had a few guys that had one guy, we were leaving and one of the kids goes into the porta potty and this guy takes his car up to the door and just bumps it, right? Well, he doesn't stop there. Then he pushes it across the parking lot. Oh my Lord. I'm laughing now, but I wasn't. I was yelling at him. I'm like, you're gonna freaking kill this kid. So, but yeah, I mean, that guy his name was Chris. He was an absolute character, man. There was just I could go on with stories and stories. Nowadays, I mean, that was a long time ago. So nowadays, I don't know how much goes on.
I would say pushing someone across in a blue chariot would be probably handled a little differently than what it was.
Yep.
Then.
I mean, I've got a similar story from Emerson when you guys were going we were going to set those secondaries for our permanent transformers.
Yeah.
And we were gearing up for that, and we're trying to clear the space out. I start moving the porta potties out of the way because there's like 5 or 6 of them left. And I'm moving this one, and I'm just going to town just by hand, moving it down the road. And I just hear some yelling inside. And I was like, oh, shit. Stepped back, and out walks our inspector.
Oh,
Oh no.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Did he probably took it well though?
Yeah, he was just like, Bob.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. porta potty stories are kind of endless, unfortunately. I was at this point, I was framing and I was 18, and there were these two guys bickering back and forth. They were some of the steel guys, and they were arguing down these stair cores that we'd run down. Big food trucks, everyone would go at the same time for break, same time for lunch. It was one of those big jobs. It was the Election City Center. Two big, I want to say they were, I don't remember exactly what those two were, but it was right off of Sloan's Lake. And the two guys were arguing. One guy got down to the porta potty, kind of, whatever with you, I'm done with this conversation. And the other guy took it upon himself to throw like a boulder towards the porta potty. And I don't know how to explain it, but it expanded and contrasted. And the guy came out covered in the Smurf stuff.
Oh.
And I did not see the end of that instance, just because it was a mess and everyone was pissed at that point. But I could only imagine if that porta potty had tipped on that guy,
Mm-hmm.
that'd have been a way different conversation.
Yep. Yeah, and there was always fireworks dropped down the porta potty when someone went in there, and just crap like that.
Yeah, that we wouldn't see that these days.
It's a different time.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell us a little more about what you're doing now. You mentioned that you're looking at, you're basically support for all the guys in the field. And you mentioned that the electrical code book is a massive code book.
Mm-hmm.
How have you navigated that?
I mean, a lot of it you learn in school and by being in the, working. You just
Reference it.
Yeah. I mean, you work and, the person you're working under a journeyman or someone that has, 3-4 years experience, and, if they're in charge, they know what they're doing. So then they're explaining all the codes and why we're doing what we're doing and the way we're doing it, So a lot of it you learn out in the field, but I learned a lot at school. So, I mean, it's 900 pages, that code book is, and
Updates every 3 years.
3 years. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. So it's, every time a code book it gets updated, we try to do classes to go learn what's updated. And yeah, it's it's just a lot of experience, and
Yeah, you can't learn it all in one
No.
day. It's
no, and you can't learn it just by reading it, unless you're an engineer, you're not going to understand it. So you got to,
it's repetition.
yeah, you got to get out there and do it. So
Would you say the greater majority of the code benefits the electrician's productivity, or is it kind of a hard line between?
no,
No. It
most
doesn't benefit.
codes don't benefit the electrician being
Productive.
productive.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah, most code changes are going to add to our work.
I was gonna say, is there one that sticks out when you first found that it was a code where you're like, you have got to be kidding me? We've done this for X amount of years. This changes and hurts us significantly.
I wouldn't say the electrical code. Now we're going to have to meter every single circuit, basically, privately. That's kind of ridiculous. To show energy.
Well, yeah, it's for energy.
Yeah, energy
Consumption.
efficient. Yeah, consumption and being efficient. So, in other states, they're monitoring that, and then if you go over a certain amount, you're going to get fined from the state.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is really ridiculous. So now, it's adding quite a bit of work, to where before we would have one panel that would feed outlets, mechanical units, lighting. Now, either you got to monitor them separate or bring them out of separate panels that are monitored. And it's just, instead of doing something easy, it's like, well, I could have came out of that panel, but now that's a mechanical panel to go feed the outlet that you want to add. But now I got to go all the way over there to that panel. That's an outlet panel.
Mm-hmm.
So that I would say that's a recent code change. It's ridiculous in my eyes.
How has the industry changed over the last couple decades? Has it changed a lot for you since you first started?
Yeah, especially in the residential, that's probably changed more than I wouldn't think. I don't think the commercials kind of side, just kind of the standards commercially have really changed, but I've seen the residential code change in the last 22 years quite a bit. Yeah, it's probably, I would almost say, close to double. Like if we priced out something 20 years ago, it's probably double what it is now. Just with how we wire things, and the outlets are now, tamper resistant. Back in the day, they weren't. The breakers are arc fault GFI. Those are $40 a piece compared to a $3 breaker.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to add surge suppression. It's
So just in general, it's more expensive
mm-hmm.
and more work.
Right.
Is there a piece of technology, if you will, or a system that has impressed you?
I guess doing the total stations, that we've done it on probably 4 or 5 projects, and we're going to do it on this project, this high rise coming up. That's pretty impressive. I mean, it's pretty cool to work with those things.
For layout.
Yeah, for laying out.
Yep.
The main reason why we're doing it on this project, because we have exposed concrete ceilings in the units and corridors, and
Oof.
so yep,
It's tough.
Yep. So hitting those pendant lights,
set in stone.
Yes, it is.
Literally
Hitting those pendant lights over the kitchen sinks.
Oh, there's no patch and drywall on those ones.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
So
would you say for that one, that's probably going to be the hardest hurdle?
Yeah.
Just layout specific.
Layout. Yep. And then a lot of the ones we've done in the past where we've had exposed concrete ceilings, like a lot of the kitchens were dropped and the bathrooms, it's only one bathroom that's dropped.
This one's all of it.
All of it. Everything's exposed. I mean, we're going to have to take everything either through sleeves through the concrete or around the unit. And the whole side that's exposed to the outside is all glass. So it's going to be a challenge. Yep.
Yeah, no kidding. Poor watch.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to sit across the table from a 18-year-old kid that's like either about to graduate high school, about to drop out of high school, just dropped out, just graduated, doesn't know what to do with his life, likes to work with his hands, has some interest in working in the field, whether it be construction, manufacturing, automotive, whatever, a trade, what would your number one piece of advice be for that kid?
Yeah, I've actually had those conversations with that 18-year-old kid. So, and he actually did come to work for us for a while and then ended up thinking he needed to go back to college. Didn't. But he Yeah, I would say, the trades are, I mean, it's a way to make good money, and you start making good money, pretty much right out of the gate for the most part. I mean, $20 an hour, that's kind of rough, but but I mean, you're getting raises every 6 months as an apprentice. So it's worth it. That's what I would say. It's worth it. The trades, you have no debt, and in 4 years, you're making great money.
You're also learning kind of a priceless skill,
Right.
that you can use on your own home. Yeah, I mean, even as an electrician, I mean, you know how to use tools. It's not like all you're learning is electrical. You're learning a
Yep.
wide range of skills that you can do side work, someday start your own business, work on your house, work on your friends' houses, work on your parents' house. Like,
Right.
it's,
Yeah. I mean, for me, I say I'm a jack of all trades and a master of one. But
at least you got the one.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I've replaced water heaters in my house. In fact, my insurance on my house recommended that I put in this main water shutoff. It's electronic shutoff, and I had that thing installed in an hour. Cutting into my main water line and soldering it in, and so yeah, you become a jack of all trades. I've done a lot, so I've helped a lot of people out, and yeah, it's good to be handy.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone in this room has helped friends, family with vehicle maintenance or their house projects or whatever. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's, I mean, some of the most prideful moments that I get are when I help someone out and they don't have to go to the mechanic shop and spend $1,500. We can do this for
Right.
$300. Bring a case of beer. Like,
right. Yeah, I mean, I just dropped my daughter off college in Minnesota, and go to her dome. Yeah, Golden Gopher,
nice.
and playing soccer D1.
Oh, that's exciting.
So, yeah.
Oh.
Congratulations to her.
Yeah. So go into her dome room and change out the shower head, because it's just a cheap shower head. She wants that. Help her, build shelves, do this, that, the other. Just my wife was telling everyone how it was so nice to have me there to help build everything and hang the TV and wire the TV, and
Yep.
So
Yeah, not only are you bringing a tangible asset to your house where you're able to financially support them, but you're also able to provide like with your hands, instant gratification for your family.
Yep.
It's build regardless of what trade you are. I was really trying to dig deep, and every person that contributes to the job site has that. I believe it's deep in their core.
Right.
It's
Yep.
that want, the self-starter, the ability to save money because they are a self-starter. I think that's awesome. So your first job running a project, how old were you at that point?
So the first job I ever ran was down in Castle Rock and the Rock Yard Brewery.
Mhm.
It's the first job I ran, and I was 21.
Oh, nice. That's a good job to have at 21.
Mm-hmm.
What were there any big lessons out of that job? Or was it pretty?
Not really.
Pretty
Honestly,
pretty vanilla.
it went really well. In fact, GC came out at the end, was like, here's handing out punch lists to other trades. I'm like, where's my punch list? He's like, we don't have anything for you. So that was actually pretty proud for that little that little project. I mean, it was a decent sized project. It was a restaurant, so to not have anything on the punch list was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Probably first and only time.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to electrical, I feel like as long as everything's working, I mean, for the most part, it's
Yeah.
mostly like pre-manufactured trims, and as long
But
as nothing's damaged or
you know, you got to level this plate, level that plate.
sure.
You know,
How big of a crew is on that one?
there was only like 5 or 6 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that one was cool because it had a brewery too, because they brew their own beer there. That was cool to hook up that equipment. Stuff takes a lot of power.
Is that still there?
Yeah. It is.
Mhm.
It's a pretty cool spot.
Yeah. What's
Right
it called?
Rockyard
Rock
Brewery.
Yard?
Yeah.
So when you're getting ready, your company tells you you're getting this project. Where does your head go to? How do you dissect it? How do you break it down? How do you attack it?
So when we first get a job, it's initially gear, right? Start submittals on gear, because that's the longest lead item. Once they're approved, they take anywhere from 46 weeks to 52. Yeah. I mean, it's a long lead time, and that can hold up a project if you don't get it released quickly. So that's the first thing. I mean, we just got a letter of intent from you guys today, and we're already reaching out to our vendor and supplier on gear. So that's the first thing we do. Yeah.
So gear's first step. Then what?
Going over drawings with a fine tooth comb with the estimator. You know, trying to figure out what's missing, what's the hard spots, trying to figure out just how we're actually going to build it. You know, there's a lot of projects that are pretty easy, that are self-explanatory, not too hard. And then there's other projects where we're scratching our heads going, how in the world are we going to do this? In fact, we had a project in Aurora where we had almost 20 foot deep excavation for the underground. I mean, it was massive. So, you know, just there was a lot of head scratching at the beginning of that job. Like, how in the world are we going to get power from here to here? And so, yeah, that's probably the next step, is bringing in a foreman and sitting down with the foreman and trying to figure out how we're going to do it, sitting down with the estimator.
So that foreman, I guess your guys' crew, your pre-con crew, if you will, is a foreman, an estimator, a PM, and some.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's
And maybe Doug.
Okay.
Doug might sit on that, our ops manager. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
At this point, is the foreman closing out another project, or is he in limbo, or is it just case by case?
Case by case, yeah.
That makes it tough.
Yeah.
How much time can they devote?
Right.
So you guys are coming out, fine tuning your guys' plan based on the drawings. And then at that point, are you guys internally making a little bit of a schedule, or are you guys making packets for?
Yeah, we try to get a schedule from the GC as soon as we get the job, just to plan out, you know, manpower for the next year or 2 years. You know, we can pretty much guess and be pretty accurate with our manpower needs for those types of projects over the next few years, based on when they say it's actually going to start. Like Emerson, I mean, your guys' schedule was ridiculous. I mean, you guys were pretty much spot on that whole time. That was awesome, and that was pretty easy to man up. And you know, it's the jobs that get pushed 3-4 months, you know, right out of the gate, that it's like, all right,
How often does that happen? Is it pretty common?
Yeah, it does.
Just for the whole job to get pushed out,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then you're just sitting on a bunch of guys waiting around.
Possibly, yeah. Sometimes we take jobs and we know we need to hire some people, so maybe there is that low, maybe there's not. Yeah, so it's just frustrating where you're expecting that and it's just spinning wheels. You feel like.
Yep.
We had a job out in Aurora that was an old tow yard, and they go and start to demo. Found 5 massive water tanks that were literally 6 to 10 feet deep and 100-foot diameter. Concrete water tanks under there. So yeah, that was one that got pushed.
That's really no one's fault at that point.
What was the reason for the tanks?
It was just an old water storage tank in Aurora that nobody even knew about. Even the tow truck people didn't even know about it. They didn't know it was under there. They just started digging. Yeah,
bury it.
I feel like someone knew.
Someone
maybe he did know.
Just bury it.
Yeah.
It's crazy how common that is to find stuff underground. It seems like it's happening a lot more and more. Building in these urban environments that.
Yeah, that I swear that's most of it is just, found like asbestos and dirt mitigation, stuff like that. It just kills the schedule. So, yeah.
Have you personally found any cool treasures when trenching or?
No, unfortunately, I haven't found anything cool. And maybe some like old, like pop or beer cans, that were, 80 years old or, something like that. But, that were like metal cans, back in the day. But other than that, no, not really.
Yeah. This might be a hard question, but you have 2 people who are superintendents for a general contractor in front of you. Is there a thought process that frustrates you in how we approach things? Or is there a question that you have in regards to how, I guess, if you were to look under the hood as to like how we think from the GC world, is there a question that you have?
Man, you guys are really good to work with. And I'm not just saying that because you're in front of me, just because you guys are very thoughtful of other trades. And but I would say just trade stacking. There are general contractors that just want everybody in there at the same time, and it doesn't work out.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we can do to help MEP trade is just coordination up front.
Yeah.
Because we try to cram so much stuff in these little spaces, these little ceiling cavities, corridors. That's, I think, the most beneficial on our end to help you guys is just these coordination meetings up front. Make sure everyone knows where they're going, and then go in one at a time. We don't need to cram a bunch of guys in there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like right now we were doing underground and it was us and the plumber. And I mean, it was so tight that we basically had dug ourselves in a corner, because piles of dirt everywhere and other trenches from other trades. And luckily I had to use the crane and the concrete buckets to actually backfill our trench with squeegee before we could actually backfill it with dirt, because we had no other way to get the squeegee in. Yeah, just kind of stuff like that where, yeah, the schedules I know are tight, but.
Would you say, I mean, in that upfront conversation and the experience that I've had with your entire crew and everyone that I've come across, I have been impressed that you guys have it dialed down to a T. Like, you guys know exactly what each specific area is going to be, and you guys know the duration. Like, if all the other outlying things are not hindering you guys. You guys have hit those durations spot on.
Yep.
Is that, where does that come from? Is it all experience, or because every job is a little bit different, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly experience. I mean, jobs might be a little different, but for the most part, the type of work that we do, it's it's pretty much the same. You know, we can pretty much predict what it's going to take to get a task done.
Right.
You know, and there's times where, you know, us as PM or estimator, we're shortening a little bit and the field takes a little longer than we think even. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, we know what it takes to get something done.
Yeah. I'd say what sets you guys apart too is things happen, mistakes happen. But when a mistake is done by someone on your guys' crew, you guys don't make excuses, you just fix it. And you still hit it in that time frame. So it's as someone who has to coordinate all those tasks, it is reassuring to know that there's a trade out there like First Electric that comes to bat, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Makes their wrongs right and still lets you know if we're going to deviate from the path, you know?
Yeah.
Can you tell when you walk onto a job site if it's going to be a good job or a bad job? Or if things are going well or going south? I mean, is it pretty apparent, like when you get out there?
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of hard because, especially on some of these bigger jobs, that unless you are out there with a magnifying glass, just walking on a job site, it's hard to tell if something's going good or bad. You know, you definitely would have to spend some time. I mean, we've even had jobs where the foreman just mailed it in, and we had basically almost our whole office out there, even our owner, Jim, in tools fixing this job, trying to get it turned over for a GC because the superintendent basically was non-existent and then left. So,
but it sounds like it takes some time for that to become apparent.
Yeah, it's hard because, you know, that one we trusted that superintendent, you know, and he was very experienced and just, I don't know, checked out, you know. So that was a hard one, just because it would have been better if he would have just quit early on, you know, and we would have got somebody else in there that cared and was paying attention to everything, you know. But it is kind of hard to tell just by walking on a job site if it's going to be good or bad.
Sure.
So how do you, without micromanaging, is there a way that you personally have figured out how to find those issues sooner? Is there like a series of questions that you can ask to trigger, hopefully?
Yep. It's a series of questions that I ask superintendents, you know, like, hey, what do we got? What do we need to, this is coming up. I see this is coming up. What's next? What do we need to do? You know, just knowing what's next on a project and knowing the project, you know, from the print side, you know, what needs to be done in the field. So yeah, asking those questions and making sure everything's getting thought of and make sure it all gets installed. So.
Is there a lot of people out there, I guess, when you're asking them questions, do they get defensive?
You kind of run into a few that might take offense to you asking and poking around, but yeah,
it's your job.
Right.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Usually, I don't know, when people get mad, there's a reason. There's a reason they're getting mad. So
right.
Has there been any, like, what's the toughest situation that you've had to deal with in the field? Is there anything that sticks out that's just like, oh my God, this is bad?
Um, I'd say the toughest thing was one of our guys lost his life. That was hard. It was at lunchtime, and he was walking across the street, got hit. That was tough. Yeah, I don't know if he was on his phone. Was on his phone maybe, and maybe the girl that was driving, they think, was distracted too, and but yeah, I got hit, and it was in a like suburban area. It was like a 25 mile an hour zone. She was probably going fast, but he got hit and hit his head on the ground, and yeah,
Jeez, it's heartbreaking.
yeah, that was hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think it always comes down to safety. I mean, we've all experienced, witnessing or being a part of injuries on site, and it's, I guess that's one thing that everyone needs to know is it comes with risk. I mean, there's heavy equipment, there's these tall structures that we're building with fall hazards or falling object hazards. I mean, being an electrician, there's a bunch of risk. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're not thinking
right,
every minute of every day, I mean, it takes half a second to electrocute someone or get seriously injured out there.
The biggest concern is you could follow all those steps, though. We saw it on the last job with an electrician, did the proper procedure, did the correct protocol, shut down a system to change out some breakers or to tighten something. And when he re-engaged that bus duct, he was thrown across the room.
Yeah.
And he did the right steps.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it is dangerous. That's probably the second thing that I fear the most is like a bad arc flash, you saw a little taste of it and a little aftermath of it on that one. And we haven't had any major arc flash burns or anything in the company, knock on wood. But
can you walk us through that instance with the arc flash?
Yeah. So my guy Luke, we had a bus duct riser feeding up to the building, feeding power to everything. And then on the bus duct, there's a disconnect. The disconnect fed a transformer, which brought the 480 down to 208. That fed the units. So hit the transformer, out of the transformer fed the distribution panel that fed all the units. There was we had the cover closed, but behind it there was a dead front blank for a missing breaker that we needed to put in the blank. So my guy Luke wanted to just shut off the power and install that blank, the power off. So he shut it off. The disconnect was right behind him. Installed it. Took him 2 minutes. Went back to turn the disconnect on, and then when he turned it on, it arced, and blew the disconnect door open, and sent him flying across the room. Luckily, no burns or anything. Brought out the manufacturer, and they looked at it, and they still don't know what or how that happened. So it was an odd one.
Has there been any cases to that manufacturer's knowing of something like that happening?
So the guy that came out from the manufacturer has worked for them for, 30, 40 years, and has never seen a disconnect arc like that, especially one that had already been energized for days.
Right.
So, yeah, that was an odd one. But most of the time, you turn something on and it those disconnects are fused. So if something arcs, it trips right away. The problem was this was on the other side of the fuses. So it was on the line side of the fuses. So arc was pretty big.
Right. So what is the, I guess, protocol, if you will? Did Luke have to go get checked out?
He said he was fine, so there was he had no burns or anything. That disconnect, the way he turned it back on, and being an electrician, we all know that when you hit those breakers or hit those switches, that you kind of are already making your way towards the exit just for those instances. And so he was already kind of heading away from it when he hit it. So when it bumped him, he was already kind of moving away from it already. But so it wasn't too bad of a I guess hit from the door. So yeah, he was fine. We offered him to get checked out and everything. He was like, "Nah, I'm fine." So luckily he had his back to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, with the stresses of being in the construction industry, especially a manager, you take on a lot of stress to manage schedules and budgets, and there's just a lot of work to be done every single day. What do you do to unwind outside of crawling up rocks with your Jeep? Do you have like a ritual, a routine? Do you?
Yeah, I like to shoot bows, guns. I like to hunt. So
Get out into nature.
Yep. So like to camp, and but yeah, usually shooting the bow almost every weekend morning one time, and then maybe go shoot the guns the other morning.
Yep.
But
let off some steam.
Yep. But other than that, I work out. I'll try to work out almost every morning on the weekdays and stuff, and hang out with wife, and now just the wife.
Yeah.
Now the daughter's gone, but yeah, I'm heading out. Actually, we're heading out to Minnesota to watch her play here on Thursday. So, my daughter growing up played competitive soccer, so that took a lot of time, and that was, I guess, kind of unwind and get away. It was nice because she played travel ball a lot, so the wife and I would always have mini vacations, usually once a month. So that was nice to unwind. But yeah, I try to, when I get home, just put the phone on the charger and be at home.
Good.
Yeah, because there were many jobs a long time ago that I'd bring home, and the wife was very vocal about that.
Yep.
So
how are you guys feeling in this season of empty nesting?
Yeah, it's good.
Good.
Yeah, it's a good thing we still like each other a lot.
Do you guys have any trips planned?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It's awesome to hear.
So how long did that take to learn to throw the phone on the charger and leave work at work?
Yep. And it was one job I was running downtown off of 7th and Grant. And it was just a constant battle with the GC. It was pretty much like halfway through that job I got told,
Enough.
Leave it at work. So yep, there's no email that needs to be replied to at 8:00 at night. It can wait till 7:00 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
And you've held true all these years?
Ever since, yeah. Yep.
It's awesome.
If my phone rings, I'll go look at it.
Depending on
answer.
who it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense.
But for the most part, I try to work my 9-hour day or 10-hour day and get everything done then. And, unless there's an absolute emergency, and I know it's an emergency, then yeah, I'll have my phone on me and check email or whatever. But for the most part, let's go home, put the phone on, disconnect, be with the family.
Yeah. Just recently, Jay and I got to spend a lot of nights together.
Yes, we did.
Smoke control, elevator, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the days you just can't get away from it.
No.
Those are those critical pieces. So
Yeah, I think that's important for everyone to hear. I mean, you do have to disconnect from the job, or else you're just going to get burnt out, and you're going to burn out your family. I mean, I think we've all been there. I've gotten the talking to.
Yep.
Like, you're not at work right now.
Nope.
You know?
Yep. And it's hard too, especially when you've gone to battle with somebody, right? And you're coming home and it's like,
I almost appreciate the longer commute sometimes, because it gives you an hour to unwind.
Yep.
And just listen to music or podcast or something and just let go of the day.
Yep. I know.
Yep.
Yeah. So just, it's later in life, just learn, like, just got to disconnect.
Yeah.
You hunting this year?
Yeah. Montana. Again.
I was going to say, what's the plan and where are you going?
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool.
Montana. We got a buddy that owns a ridiculous ranch. And it's heaven.
Is that where you went last year?
Yeah.
Is he looking for more friends?
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's unfortunately we can only get bull tags every other year.
Oh, bummer.
So it's just going to be a cow tag this year, but yeah.
Archery?
Yeah. Yep. We could do late rifle. If we don't get anything archery, we could go back and hammer one with a rifle, but yeah.
How long you been hunting?
About 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Haven't been the best at it. I'm a terrible hunter, but
There's a lot of big time commitment.
Yeah. Yep. Especially scouting, and back when we were serious, and backpacking for 10 days deep, go 5-6 miles in and live off your back for 10 days. Yeah. That was fun though. It was, coming out of that, that's a good way to lose 10, 15 pounds.
Yeah. Big backpacking trip through the mountains.
Is there an appeal for hunting for you? Is there?
Yeah. The challenge, people that don't hunt, they think it's easy.
Yeah.
And it's not.
They call it hunting, not
Right.
catching.
Exactly. So it's the challenge and just disconnecting and being in nature.
Yeah.
I like the backpacking and being out of cell service, and that's what really kind of brings me back. Recharges the battery. Montana's nice. It's nice to have 400 head of elk running around on this property, but yeah, backpacking and even just camping and just disconnecting kind of soothes my soul.
Heck yeah. Yeah, my wife always gives me a little bit of crap. She says, you always, every year, take PTO off to work harder than you do at your job.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never understand that.
Yep.
It's just gratifying. It's nice to be. She loves camping, and I explain it's the same concept, just with a little bit more planning and a little bit more no people around,
Right.
which is nice.
Yeah, I think it's important to have something to invest some time into that's not work, that's even like disconnected from your family a little bit. It's just for you. And
Right.
that's what hunting sounds like is your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hunting, shooting.
Yeah. Shooting and actually the off-roading.
Yep.
Wife kind of has done that a few times and wasn't thrilled about getting bounced around for 3 hours.
Yeah, it's a little different as a passenger. You gotta be in the driver's seat.
And I told her, I'm like, hey, you want to drive? It's way better driving. No, it's fine. She's a good sport.
Good. Are you from Colorado?
Yep.
Okay.
So I was born in the Springs and then moved up into to Aurora when I was 2.
Okay.
Yep.
Is your wife a native as well?
So she moved here when she was 7.
Okay.
Crazy thing. We went to elementary school, middle school, and high school together and never knew each other. She was 1 year older than me and we never knew each other. But yeah, she was even like friends in elementary school with the girl that lived right across the street. She's like, I was over her house all the time. Just never knew each other.
Interesting.
Crazy.
What high school did you guys go to?
Gateway.
Okay. Nice.
Your wife's not from Minnesota, is she?
No.
No.
No, she was from Pennsylvania.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, that when we went out to Minnesota with my daughter to visit school, that's the first time any of us had been to Minnesota. So
All right, Jay. Well, we appreciate you coming in. If there is anything you want to put out there, especially to the younger crowd, just about coming into the trades, being an electrician, being any sort of tradesman, yeah, what would you throw out there?
yeah, the world's getting taken over by computers and AI, and the trades it's probably going to be the last thing that gets taken over by robots eventually one day, right? But it's a good way to get in. If you don't know what you want to do in college and don't really feel like college is your thing, the trades are where you need to go because you can make a lot of money pretty quickly and with no debt. So you get paid to learn, and most importantly, no debt. And most companies, you can climb your way to the top and make really good money if you work hard enough. So, yeah.
Also, the opportunity to come out with those tangible skills.
Yep.
The skill set. And I mean, I think this is important to note. If you try it, you can still go to school after. I mean, if it's not for you, it's the less expensive thing to try right off the bat, though. If you don't know what to do, and again, you're gaining experience in the real world, working for an employer, and again gaining those skills that you can't learn in school. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good option coming right out of high school. At least try it. If it somewhat interests you.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, where there's an individual listening, where do they start? Where do they go?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm guessing just start calling whatever trade just start Googling whatever trade you want to enter and see what companies are around, and then start reaching out, ask if they're hiring. Most construction companies are almost always hiring because, you do get a lot of people that come in, and some people that feel like, want to try it and it doesn't work out or whatever. So most companies are almost always hiring construction in the construction industry. So yeah, just I'd say research what you want to do and then start reaching out to companies.
Yeah, I think another good resource would be any trade schools in the area could probably point you in the right direction. And I know a lot of jobs require a certain amount of experience. Are there any opportunities for someone to start a career as an electrician with zero experience?
Oh yeah. Everyone starts with zero. So, yep, 100%. We start guys off with zero experience and get them roughing and pulling wire and right off the bat. So,
just a can-do attitude and show up on time, right?
Exactly. Show up on time and want to work hard.
Yep.
make a lot of money.
Is there a piece of advice that you would give younger Jay at 18, now knowing what you know?
Man, not really. I think I've kind of done the best that I can for myself, you know. But you know, I always wondered like what would happen not going to college, you know, when I was in the middle of high school, because I kind of knew then I did not want to go to college. And yeah, I don't know. I think I did everything. If I had to do it over, I'd probably do it the same, you know. So
Well,
Something to be proud of.
yeah,
we're
most
and
definitely.
we're 2 for 2 on that statement with guests. So I mean, yeah, that's a pretty powerful statement coming from guys that didn't go the 4-year school route. So yeah, I mean, I think it's important that everyone knows that it is doable, and there's a lot of opportunity out there if you're willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Cool. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Jay.
It's good.
Yep.